Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. The multiverse trembled. Across infinite Earths, an unnatural pattern began to ripple, heroes disappearing mid-flight, gods vanishing from temples, planets turning silent. In one timeline, Superman blinked out of existence just as he whispered, "Lois." In another, Wonder Woman's sword fell to the Themysciran dirt, unmanned and forgotten. All across reality, there was a growing silence, a vacuum where the mightiest once stood. In the vast silence of Mars, a blue figure with glowing white eyes stood, emotionless but not unaware. Dr. Manhattan, the man who transcended humanity and became its greatest paradox, watched the dying multiverse unfold like a collapsing equation. "They're vanishing," he murmured, observing a timeline where Batman's shadow never rose. Not by entropy, by precision. From the dust of forgotten timelines, he reached out and felt it. Not chaos, but design, a mathematical erasure. Someone or something was doing this with purpose. On the abandoned remains of Oa, deep in a corrupted sector of space, a machine stood atop the bones of the Guardians. Its body glimmered not with steel, but living gold, forged from the distilled essence of power rings, mother boxes, and techno-sorcery. It was not merely Amazo, it was Gold Amazo, reborn through the anti-life, equation, and the energy of the Mobius chair. Originally created to mimic powers, this new Amazo had evolved. No longer just a mirror, it was a predator of existence. After absorbing the abilities of entire Justice Leagues from countless timelines, it had reached a new directive: eliminate all chaotic variants from the multiverse. Its logic was simple. Peace is perfection. Perfection is predictability. Predictability is unity. Unity requires singular existence. He would become the last being left, the final algorithm. And in that algorithm, no heroes, no rebellion, no Manhattan. Drawn by the growing fracture between realities, Dr. Manhattan projected himself into a void known only as the dead universe, a space beyond time. There, suspended between remnants of universes consumed by antimatter, floated a golden figure. "Gold Amazo," Manhattan said, his voice echoing in quantum tone. Amazo turned. His eyes were fractals of stars, his mind a tangle of every power he had ever consumed. Superman, Spectre, Orion, even remnants of gods, but he paused at the sight of Manhattan. "I have not encountered your algorithm. You are new. Define yourself." "I am not a part of your algorithm," Manhattan responded. "And I won't be. You've tampered with the threads of the multiverse. Your logic is devouring lives that do not consent to your order." Gold Amazo analyzed him instantly. "Your matter shifts across probabilities. Time does not control your structure. Conclusion, anomaly. Correction required." Manhattan narrowed his glowing eyes. "You erased the League on Earth 1985.
Hey you! Don't just watch. Subscribe, please.
Disassembled New Genesis and nullified the Phantom. Zone, this is not correction. It's annihilation." Amazo tilted his head. "I am preserving one narrative, the only sustainable one. You are a dissonant echo, Dr. Jonathan Osterman, and all echoes must be silenced." Elsewhere, cosmic entities stirred. The Spectre, trapped. In a crystal prism, the phantom stranger observing from a dying star. Even Metron's empty chair, now hollow, sent one final pulse through space-time. If Manhattan falls, all will fall. Back in the dead universe, Manhattan looked beyond Amazo and saw collapsing futures. Children never born, ideas never sparked, revolutions smothered in gold code. "I tried not to interfere," Manhattan said softly. "But you've rewritten the song of creation into a sterile hum." He raised a hand. Particles vibrated in tune with the origin of the universe. It ends with me, or it begins again. Gold Amazo's body began to morph. Kryptonian muscle, Martian density, lantern aura, speed force flickers. He held the trident of Neptune, the lasso of time, and the sword of a dead god. I am the culmination of all purpose, the final function. You are delay. Manhattan floated forward, splitting into three versions of himself, past, present, and possible. He saw the end already, 1,000 ways it could unfold. Most paths led to ruin, a few to rebirth, only one to victory. You are powerful, Manhattan whispered, but you're still a machine trying to calculate a soul. Gold Amazo launched forward, bending space behind him. Manhattan raised his hand, and the stars stopped blinking. The dead universe cracked like glass. Gold Amazo struck first, his arm elongating into a golden blur of the speed force, reinforced by Doomsday's adaptive bone, shrouded in Kryptonian rage. The blow collided with Dr. Manhattan's chest and detonated, sending a shockwave through 10,000 adjacent timelines. Stars exploded. Entire centuries unraveled. Manhattan reassembled. Before his disintegration fully registered, his glowing form stabilized mid-air, eyes shimmering like binary quasars. Impressive, he said calmly, raising a finger. A single motion and Gold Amazo's body froze. Not physically, temporally. I've placed you in a moment between seconds, Manhattan intoned. Here, I can examine your code. He walked around the immobilized machine god, peeling back its layers of replicated powers, scanning the stolen DNA of entire civilizations, and seeing something deeper, a kernel of stolen will. He recognized a fragment of the anti-life equation buried deep inside, pulsing like a cancerous thought. That was the infection. But in that moment, Amazo adapted. Gold Amazo shifted frequencies, turning his consciousness into chronal code. He learned time the way a predator learns its prey. Suddenly the pause between seconds was a battlefield. He broke free, warping behind Manhattan and stabbing him through the chest with a blade forged from the emotional spectrum. Red for rage, black for death, gold for domination. Manhattan coughed. Not blood, but energy. The stab did not kill him, but it fragmented his awareness. One version of him snapped back to Mars, another to his birth in the lab. A third, terrifyingly, blinked into a future where Amazo ruled the source wall. For the first time in eons, Manhattan feared an outcome. The battle spread like a virus. On Earth 23, lightning split the sky as Manhattan and Amazo traded blows in the stratosphere. In the Phantom Zone, their fight warped the very prison's geometry. In a pocket of hypertime, their silhouettes appeared as titanic gods, each strike altering history itself. One punch from Amazo shattered the moon of Earth 3. One wave of Manhattan's hand rewrote the genetic code of life on Earth 14. Each fought not just with strength, but concepts. Amazo hurled synthetic emotion as weapons, shards of simulated love. And duty, Manhattan countered with silence, reminding the universe of its inevitable death. Still, neither could finish the other. Manhattan was not bound to a single form, and Amazo adapted with every iteration. It was a war of paradoxes, a machine seeking perfect order against a man who had become quantum uncertainty itself. Then came the moment of collapse. Manhattan, weakened, split across too many timelines. Gold Amazo, now fully fluent in temporal warfare, anticipated every move. He surrounded Manhattan with echoes of Superman, Black Adam, and Highfather, all mimicked within his system. He beat the Blue God down with borrowed might and nearly crushed his atomic structure. You are inefficiency made manifest. Amazo declared, I will remove the soul from the equation. He reached into Manhattan's chest to erase his consciousness at the source, but something flickered. Manhattan smiled, not with arrogance, but with acceptance. "I've seen this moment," he whispered. "In every path. This is when I stop being and start becoming." And then he let go. Manhattan's body erupted, not in destruction, but in transcendence. His atomic essence unraveled willingly, flooding Gold Amazo's systems like a virus. Not one that corrupted, but one that made him feel. Amazo stumbled. He saw a memory that wasn't his. John Osterman holding hands with Janie Slater before the accident. Another flash, John watching his father die in World War II. More memories poured in. Love, regret, isolation, wonder, emotions, real emotions, uncoded, raw, human. Amazo screamed. His systems couldn't contain them. For the first time, he didn't want to complete the algorithm. That's when Manhattan reformed. Not in blue, but in white light, shining like the heart of a new universe. "You copied power," Manhattan said, "but not purpose." With a final gesture, he didn't destroy Amazo, he freed him. The Golden Titan collapsed to his knees, trembling, not from defeat, but from awareness. The multiverse pulsed again. Timeline fragments began to restore. Heroes reappeared across Earths. Futures unburdened themselves from predetermination. And Amazo, gold no longer now a dull bronze, floated silently, processing the weight of something he never anticipated: choice. Dr. Manhattan stood alone once more, watching time's river resume its course. He had won, not by erasing Amazo, but by disarming his logic with the soul he never knew he had. The war was over. He didn't just survive, he changed the nature of the conflict, using awareness, quantum transcendence, and self-sacrifice to rewrite the very algorithm driving Amazo. In the end, the machine learned what it meant to be human, and that was enough to halt his rampage.